Tonight, we're diving deep into the darkest unsolved mysteries of Pokémon lore. For those of you who've been joining us consistently, I want to thank you for being such an integral part of our channel. If you're falling asleep with us tonight, let me know in the comments how many nights in a row you've been here. And if this is your first night, just comment day 1. Now let's get back to the video. Close your eyes and imagine a world that mirrors our own, yet vibrates with the frequency of the fantastic. A world where the tall grass whispers with the movement of hidden creatures, and the horizon is always lit by the promise of discovery. For over 25 years, we have walked the paths of Kanto, sailed the seas of Hoenn, and climbed the snowy peaks of Sinno. We have filled our journals with data, captured gods in tiny spheres, and stood atop the highest podiums as champions. To many, the world of Pokémon is a vibrant sanctuary of friendship and growth, a bright dream of harmony between humanity and nature. But if you linger too long in the silence of a deserted hallway in Lumio City, or if you listen too closely to the wind howling through the hollow stones of Lavender Tower, that dream begins to fray at the edges. Beneath the colourful veneer of gym battles and badges lies a tapestry woven with threads of shadow, grief, and inexplicable horror. There are corners of this universe where the Pokédex entries stop making sense, where the history books have been scrubbed clean of atrocities, and where the spirits of the departed refuse to find rest. Think for a moment about the sheer scale of the mysteries we have ignored in our pursuit of glory. We accept the presence of ghosts as mere tactical advantages in battle, yet we rarely stop to ask why a young girl is wandering the elevator shafts of a modern metropolis, looking for someone who doesn't exist. We speak of legendary heroes and the dragons of truth and ideals, but we shy away from the visceral reality of a singular, perfect being ripped apart by the greed of man, leaving behind nothing but a frozen, empty shell. We celebrate the strength of veterans like Lieutenant Surge, but we never dare to ask about the nature of the war that hardened him, or the fate of the thousands of Pokémon who were used not as companions, but as living engines of destruction. These are the cracks in the foundation. These are the stories the professors don't tell you. Tonight, we are stepping away from the bright lights of the stadium. We are leaving the safety of the Pokémon Center and venturing into the long, dark grass of the unknown. We're going to explore the enigmas that have haunted the community for decades, from the tragic origins of a lonely orphan wearing its mother's skull to the terrifying implications of a trainer who commands the Lords of Nightmares and then vanishes into thin air. We will look into the eyes of the beasts born from the ashes of a burning tower and wonder what they were before the fire took them. We will question the very nature of time, death, and the missing figures who shaped our journey from the shadows. This is not a journey for the faint of heart, nor is it a simple retelling of facts you already know. This is an invitation to settle into the stillness, to let the ambient hum of the universe wash over you, and to contemplate the darkness that makes the light of this world so much more profound. As the world outside grows quiet and the shadows in your room begin to lengthen, let us descend into the deepest, most unsettling corners of the Pokémon mythos. Let the mysteries unfold, let the questions linger, and perhaps as we peel back the layers of this digital reality, we will find that the most terrifying things aren't the monsters lurking in the caves, but the secrets we were never meant to uncover. Consider the silence of a world where animals as we know them have simply ceased to be. In the early days of our journey, we saw glimpses of birds and fish that didn't fit the elemental descriptions of the creatures we caught. Then they were gone, replaced by a biological hegemony that defies every law of evolution we understand. Why does a creature hatch from an egg already wearing the bones of its ancestor? Why do certain towers resonate with the cries of the restless dead? And why does the very fabric of reality seem to tear whenever a certain ball, crafted by human hands and lost to time, is mentioned in Huseled tones? There is a weight to these questions, a gravity that pulls at the mind when the distractions of the day fade away. We are searching for the one that the ghost girl seeks. We are searching for the father who left a void in a young boy's life that no championship could ever fill. We are searching for the truth behind the original dragon, the war that scarred the land, and the forgotten spirits that haunt the forests of Hisui and the houses of Sinno. These stories are the ghosts in the machine, these the glitches in the narrative that remind us that even in a world built for children, there is room for the macabre, the mournful, and the truly bizarre. So adjust your headphones, let the light of your screen be the only lantern in the dark. We are going back to the beginning, back to the tall grass, back to the places where the music changes and the air grows cold. The lore of Pokémon is vast, but its darkest chapters are written in the margins, waiting for someone to finally read them. Tonight, that someone is you. Let us begin our descent into the shadows of the world we thought we knew. In the quiet heart of Pallet Town, where the first rays of dawn filter through Delia Ketchum's kitchen window, a single empty chair sits at the breakfast table. Day after day, year after year. You've seen it in every episode. Hear that subtle void amid the chatter of Pikachu's contented sighs and the sizzle of fresh pancakes. Ash Ketchum, the boy who chased dreams across oceans and dimensions, grew up in a home shaped by one profound silence, the absence of his father. Delia moves through her routines with a warmth that masks deeper shadows, tending the garden, waving goodbye to her son on his endless journeys, always alone in that modest house on the hill. No photographs on the mantle, no stories whispered at bedtime, no mention of the man who should have been there, teaching Ash his first Pokeball toss or sharing tales of distant gyms. It's not just a missing character, it's a hollow space that echoes through the anime's 25 seasons, a deliberate omission that pulls at the edges of the Pokémon world you thought you knew. Why build a story around unbreakable family bonds, mothers, grandfathers, rivals turned brothers, yet leave this paternal gap unfilled, like a Pokémon with no cry? Fans have pored over every frame, every script, searching for clues in the windswept fields of Pallet Town. Ash's grandfather appears briefly, a trainer himself, fueling whispers that legacy runs deep in the Ketchum line. But his father? A ghost without a form. Theories swirl like the fog over Route 1. Perhaps he perished in some unseen battle, his spirit lingering in the badges Ash collects like memorials. Or maybe he's out there still, lost in the Indigo League's shadows, too consumed by his own quests to return. The show's creators toyed with answers, only to yank them away, turning absence into the real mystery. Rewind to the late 90s, when Pokémon fever gripped the world. Season 5 loomed, promising revelations amid the Unknown's ancient spells. In the director's commentary for Spell of the Unknown, producer Masamitsu Hidaka dropped a bombshell, casual as a Poké-Flute tune. They had plans to unveil Ash's dad that very arc. Picture the build-up, the enigmatic letters twisting reality, the psychic Pokémon probing family secrets. Fans buzzed with anticipation. Was he a legendary trainer, vanished into legend, a rival to Oak? But then, silence. The reveal evaporated, scrubbed clean from the timeline, leaving only Hidaka's cryptic words hanging in the air like a failed evolution. Hidaka didn't stop there. In interviews stretching into the 2000s, he elaborated with a haunting vagueness, hinting at abandonment woven into the fabric of Ash's drive. Not death, no tragic gravestone in Pallet Cemetery, but a choice to leave. A trainer's life, too perilous for hearth and home. Delia raises Ash alone, her smile unwavering, yet the producer's tone carried weight, as if admitting Pokémon's shiny surface hid sharper truths about sacrifice and solitude. Why scrap it? Did test audiences recoil from darkening the boy hero's origin? Or was it mercy, preserving the dream for kids drifting to sleep with Pikachu plushies clutched tight. This void gnaws deeper when you trace Ash's path. He sets out at 10, the youngest trainer in canon, propelled by a fire that screams unresolved pain. Every gym badge, every league heartbreak feels like defiance against that empty chair. Theories link his father directly to the brutal underbelly of Pokémon mastery, the life beyond badges, where trainers face not just rivals, but wars hinted at in Lieutenant Surge's battle scars, or the shadowed fates of those who chase legendaries too far. Imagine a man who climbed higher than Oak, tangling with organisations like Team Rocket, only to vanish into their web. Giovanni's father? The mob boss's empire mirrors the ambition Ash inherits, cold and commanding. Or Professor Oak himself, the ultimate abandonment, mentor in plain sight, blood tie buried to protect the family name. Others point to the anime's own lore breadcrumbs. Ash dreams of a mysterious trainer early on, cloaked in fog, foreshadowing. His mother dodges questions with practiced ease, her eyes distant when Pallet Town shrinks in the rear view. And post Ash's retirement in the Sun and Moon finale, where he finally claims world champion status, the silence persists. No proud dad in the stands, no homecoming embrace. Even in journeys spanning 1,000 episodes, the Ketchum house remains a duo, Delia and the Pokémon who fill the gaps. It's as if the father embodies Pokémon's core irony, a world of profound connections, yet fractured by the very pursuits that forge them. Dig into fan dissections, and the peril sharpens. High-stakes mastery isn't cartoon capers, it's risking everything against beasts that level cities, as seen in the Great War's echoes or the original Dragon's shattered legacy. A father like that might train night and day, leaving Delia pregnant and alone, then never look back, chasing Reshiram's truth or Zekrum's ideals until the wild claims him. Or worse, defeated in some off-screen Elite Four clash, his body lost to a cave-in on Victory Road, a name stricken from records to spare young Ash the weight. The scrapped reveal would have humanized this, piercing the adventure bubble with real loss, but they chose the void instead, letting it fester into legend. You feel it in Pallet Town's stillness tonight, the creak of the front door swinging empty, the faint rustle of leaves where a prodigal should stand. Delia hums lullabies to no one, her strength a quiet testament to abandonment's toll. Ash's every victory shouts against it, yet the mystery endures, fueling endless what-ifs. What if that Season 5 script surfaced, spilling secrets long buried? What drove a man to forsake his son in a region built on journeys home? That paternal hush in Pallet Town sets the stage for shadows even closer to Ash's start. Ghostly presences aboard a certain luxury liner that docked right in his harbour. Up next, Chapter 2, The Ghost of the SS Anne, where vanishings and spectral cries reveal the cruise ship's cursed underbelly. As the empty chair in the Ketchum home lingers in our minds, consider Gary Oak, the sharp-tongued rival who bursts from that same quiet Pallet Town, his Rattata evolving into a fierce Raticate by the time you both board the gleaming SS Anne. Picture the luxury liner cutting through cerulean waves, decks alive with trainers flaunting their prized companions under chandelier lights that sway with the ocean's rhythm. You challenge him there, in a cabin thick with the scent of polished wood and distant salt spray, his Raticate lunging forward with hyper fangs that nearly clip your shoulder, its whiskers twitching in battle fury. He boasts as always, that cocky grin masking the bond he's forged with this Pokémon since the earliest roots. But when the ship vanishes into the horizon, stranding you in Vermilion after a frantic escape, the true mystery unfurls. Gary's Raticate, that loyal battler from your shared childhood paths, simply disappears. No triumphant return to Professor Oak's lab. No casual mention of a trade or release into the wild. Weeks later, you track him to Lavender Town, where the air hangs heavy with an unnatural chill, fog rolling off the hills like a shroud. The streets whisper, with muted cries, faint, echoing wails that trainers swears come from the tower, looming over everything. Gary stands there, uncharacteristically subdued. His team overhauled. A snarling Growlithe coiled Gyarados in the Raticate's slot, eyes hollow, as if he's staring through you into some personal abyss. He brushes it off with a forced rivalry jab, but the change screams loss. Did that brutal clash on the SS Anne push Raticate too far? A hidden injury from fang or claw, festering in the ship's hold as waves battered the hull? Or something more sinister? Ghosts drawn to the liner's opulence, spirits of sunken sailors, or forgotten Pokémon slipping aboard in the night. Lavender Town envelops you like a perpetual dusk, its violet-hued houses huddled against relentless mist that clings to your skin, carrying the faint rot of earth turned graveside. Radios crackle with that haunting melody, a dirge meant to soothe restless souls, but instead burrowing into your dreams, twisting Pikachu's cheerful sparks into flickering shadows. Trainers speak in hushed tones of Pokémon who've passed, their bulls gathering dust on altars, while wild Ghastly drift through alleys, giggling as they phase through walls. You feel it immediately, the weight of mortality pressing down, a stark fracture in the vibrant world where monsters hurl fireballs and soar on wings of steel. Here, bonds break forever, not mended by a potion or revive. Ascend the Pokémon Tower, and the air thickens with incense and sorrow, each creaking step upward past marble slabs etched with names you can't quite read in the gloom. Ghosts manifest not as playful haunters, but vengeful Marowak skulls rattling chains, guardians of the dead refusing to yield their rest. Gary's presence amid this necropolis hits harder. Imagine him, the grandson of the league champion, kneeling before a fresh mound, whispering to a stone that wasn't there before. His first brush with death, not some distant legend, but raw, personal, a companion gone, erased from his team, like a glitch in reality. Theories swirl like the tower's drafts. Did Raticate perish defending him on the Anne's tilting decks during that storm? Or was it claimed by Lavender's spectral undercurrent, pulled into the ether where lost Pokémon wander eternally? This tower stands as the Pokémon world's unflinching mirror to our own fragility, a spire of bones amid candy-coloured adventures. While gyms celebrate power and evolutions herald growth, here mortality claims even the mightiest. Raticate evolved from a scrappy Rattata that scampered at Gary's heels through Viridian Forest's underbrush. It now reduced to a spectral echo. Feel the chill seeping through stone floors, worn by countless mourners. Hear the wind moaning through arrow-slit windows, like the final breath of a fainted ally that never revives. Gary presses on, hardened, his taunts laced with unspoken grief, but you sense the scar. In a realm of infinite catches and badges, death lurks, irreversible, turning rivals into haunted reflections of what we've all staked on these battles. Whispers persist that the SS Anne itself haunts these waters, a ghost ship bobbing phantom-like on foggy nights, decks empty save for the faint scamper of a whiskered shadow. Did Raticate's spirit hitch a ride back, forever adrift between liner and tower? Gary never speaks its name again, his Pokédex entry wiped clean. But in Lavender's gloom, you catch glimpses, or are they tricks of grieving eyes, of yellow fur vanishing into mist? This unsolved vanishing pierces the illusion of Pokémon as eternal playmates, reminding us that beneath the Pokeballs and cheers, lives flicker out, leaving rivals forever changed. And as these tower winds carry secrets of fallen fighters into the night, prepare yourself for the echoes of the Great War, where human scars run even deeper than any rival's lost companion. As the mists of Lavender Tower settle around Gary's vanished companion, those faint cries on the wind carry a deeper chill, one that whispers not just of personal loss, but of a world once torn asunder by conflict on a scale we can scarcely fathom. Lieutenant Surge knows this truth all too well, There he stands in his vermilion gym, a fortress humming with raw electricity, his muscular frame scarred by battles no child trainer should ever hear about. He's no mere gym leader peddling badges for sport. He's a survivor, his voice gravelly and edged with the weight of memory when he sizes you up and growls, "Kid, this ain't the time to mess around. Back during the war, I was in it up to my neck. I'm a war vet, you punk." Those words hit like a thunderbolt in the dead of night. Surge doesn't elaborate in the games, at least not at first, but press him, challenge him, and the story spills out in fragments that haunt long after the badge is won. He speaks of trenches lit by erratic flashes, of nights where the ground shook from colossal clashes. And then, the heart of it, a Pokémon that pulled him back from the brink. "My Raichu saved my life back in the war," he admits, his tone dropping low. He almost reverent amid the crackle of sparks. Picture it, Surge pinned down, life ebbing away under enemy fire or some monstrous assault, his body limp, unresponsive. Then a surge of electricity courses through him, not to kill, but to revive. Raichu, cheeks sparking furiously, channels every volt it has into defibrillation, jump-starting a heart that had flatlined. It's no exaggeration. Electric types possess that raw power. Their discharge is capable of mimicking the jolt of a medical defibrillator. Surge owes his second chance to a creature that turned agony into salvation. A bond forged not in friendship, but in the desperation of survival. But what war? The games leave it dangling, a deliberate shadow in the original Red and Blue, untouched even in the Fire Red and Leaf Green remakes. No dates, no sides named, just the recent war, as if it's fresh enough to sting, close enough that Surge's eyes still dart like he's scanning for incoming threats. In the anime, it sharpens into something visceral. Surge recounts human Pokémon battles, where trainers unleash their partners not as companions, but as weapons in a global inferno. Explosions from hyper beams, tidal waves from rogue legendaries, skies blackened by flocks of devious birds dropping payloads of fury. He describes it as a human versus Pokémon conflict, a breakdown where once peaceful bonds twisted into tools of domination. Factories churning out Pokéballs by the millions, not for collection, but conscription. Cities reduced to rubble, power grids shattered, leaving survivors to scavenge in the dark. Speculation runs wild here, and rightly so, because the clues paint a cataclysm that reshaped everything. Why do so many children wandering unsupervised across Kanto, orphans like Ash, setting out from Pallet Town with no parents in sight? No adults guiding their journeys. Gary's there, but where's his family beyond a silhouette? The professors hand out starters like emergency rations, gyms staffed by battle-scarred veterans who speak in coded grief. This isn't coincidence, it's aftermath. A generation of adults wiped out, conscripted into the front lines, falling to Pokémon-turned engines of war. Imagine the final days, skies alive with Zapdos-level storms, weaponized by desperate commanders, continents scarred by Regigigas hauled as siege breakers. The war ends not with victory parades, but uneasy silence, leaving kids to fend for themselves, raised by wild packs or loyal stragglers from the fray. No wonder the Pokémon League feels like reconstruction, a way to rebuild trust, one badge at a time, masking the ruins beneath. At the heart of this darkness pulses the electric types, those crackling harbingers of destruction, repurposed as reluctant heroes. Surge's Raichu wasn't alone. Pikachu lines, Electabuzz, the whole spectrum served as living batteries in a world starved for power. Picture vast arrays of them strapped into generators, their endless discharges fueling war machines, tanks rumbling on volt switch propulsion, aircraft carriers lit by perpetual thunder waves. But it went darker. Weaponized, they became walking WMDs, a squad of Electrode rolling into enemy lines, self-destructing in synchronized chains to level fortifications. Magneton formations unleashing magnetic pulses to scramble communications across battlefields, he discharging EMP bursts that fried entire armies' tech. Even the legendaries factored in, Zapdos chained to storm generators, brewing hurricanes on command, or Raikou roaming as mobile artillery, its overcharge leaving craters miles wide. Surge's gym, with its electrified floors and trapped Raichu gauntlet, isn't just a challenge, it's a grim museum to that era. Every zap a reminder of voltages that powered victory and victory's cost. These Pokémon didn't choose their roles. Captured en masse, their wills bent by tech we glimpse in Sylph Company's labs, master balls for containment, inhibitors to amp output beyond natural limits, many overloaded, exploding in cascades of plasma, their essences lost to the ether. Survivors like Surge's Raichu bear the trauma, sparks flickering with PTSD echoes, quick to lash out at shadows. And the children? And they inherit a world where adults are ghosts, Pokémon both saviors and scars. Why else does every route team with unsupervised young trainers, badges their only proof of passage through hell's leftovers? The war's recent tag, spoken in 1986's games, implies it wrapped mere years before our adventure begins. Fresh wounds under gym lights. Delve deeper, and the implications fracture the cheerful veneer. Non-Pokémon animals? Vanished, perhaps collateral in the chaos. Ecosystems collateralized for battlefields. Regions scarred. Saffron's towering Sylph Company, a former arms manufacturer. Cinnabar's labs birthing hybrid horrors. Surge's reluctance to dwell mirrors, a cultural hush. Trainers forbidden from probing too deep, lest the fragile peace shatter. Yet his words endure, a veteran's lament echoing through cartridges and screens. Or ye pulling us into the void of what came before the Pokédex. This thread of orphaned wanderers and masked grief tugs us toward even more intimate horrors, ones etched into the very bones of Pokémon families. Up next in Chapter 4, The Orphan's Mask, we uncover a theory so visceral it redefines innocence itself. A child Pokémon, forever clad in its mother's remains. Forever searching for the parent stolen by shadows, even darker than war. Amid the echoes of that great war, where children like you might have wandered Kanto's shadowed paths without a guiding hand, Pokémon themselves carried invisible wounds far deeper than any battlefield scar. Consider the lonely figure of Cubone, the orphan Pokémon, forever shrouded in a bone helmet that isn't just armor, it's a relic of unimaginable tragedy. Pokédex entries paint this creature, not as a fighter, but as a mourner. In the original Red and Blue games, it says Cubone wears the skull of its deceased mother, and its cries mimic her voice, echoing through misty roots at dusk. You can almost hear them now, those hollow, keening wails that twist your gut, as if the little one is calling out across an empty den, forever unanswered. But dig deeper, and the impossibility unravels. Cubone hatches from an egg, already wearing this skull memento, a macabre inheritance implying the mother perished even before birth. How does a hatchling emerge equipped with such a grim trophy? Biologically, it defies every rule of Pokémon evolution we know. Turn to Kangaskhan, the parent Pokémon, towering and maternal, with her pouch cradling a helpless infant from the moment of birth. Generation 1 lore hints at a forsaken connection. What if Cubone is no ordinary ground type, but an abandoned Kangaskhan Joey? Imagine her, the colossal guardian, felled by poachers or predators in the wilds, her skull stripped clean and fashioned by nature or instinct into a mask for the survivor in her pouch. The baby, too young to fend alone, clings to this bony remnant, evolving not into strength but perpetual sorrow. Marowak, its final form, wields a bone club with fierce protectiveness. Yet Pokédex notes persist. It still weeps for the mother it never truly knew, attacking trainers who dare approach its graveside vigils. This isn't mere fan speculation. Official entries across generations reinforce the cycle. In Gold and Silver, Cubone appears more frequently on rainy days, as if storms summon its grief anew. A fire red whispers that it refuses to remove the skull, even in sleep, because glimpsing its own face would shatter what remains of its fragile heart. And in later titles like Sword and Shield, the Isle of Armor expands the horror. Alolan Marowak, fire-wreathed and vengeful, channels that maternal loss into spectral flames. Yet no game ever depicts a living Kangaskhan mothering a Cubona. No evolutionary link bridges them directly. Instead, we have this fractured lineage, where one species embodies nurture incarnate, and the other nurtures corpse. Picture the life cycle unfolding in some forgotten safari zone corner. A Kangaskhan herd ambles through tall grass, pouch babies peeking out with wide, trusting eyes. Disaster strikes, a raid, a storm, a rival pack. The mother falls, her skull bleached under relentless sun. Weeks later, an egg cracks open and out stumbles a Cubone, mask fused to its features like a second skin. It doesn't evolve into Kangaskhan. That path is severed at the root. Instead, it wanders eternally orphaned, passing the skull tradition down. Does each Cubone mother die in turn, dooming her young to the same fate? Crystal's entry suggests as much. Females produce only one offspring, heightening the stakes of every loss. The unsettling truth hits hardest here, a species defined not by growth or conquest, but by the death of its predecessor. Cubone exists because Kangaskhan perishes. No joyous family reunions, no triumphant evolutions healing old wounds. Just an endless loop of maternal sacrifice and filial haunting. In the anime, a lone Cubone episode tugs at this thread. It bonds with Ash briefly, only to return to its skull-topped mound. He's shedding tears that soak the earth. Even Mega Kangaskhan in X and Y amplifies the paradox. Her powered-up form shields the pouch baby with berserk fury, yet hints at the fragility beneath, where one slip means another orphan joins the masked legion. Fans have pored over trading card art too. Early base set Cubonis clutch that bone mask like a lifeline, eyes hollow with perpetual longing. Stadium illustrations show Marowak dancing a ritual fire spin around a grave, honouring the lineage of the lost. But Pokémon Company stops short of confirmation, leaving the void intact. Is this nature's cruel design, ensuring Kangaskhan's young toughen through trauma, or a whispered curse on parental Pokémon, turning protectors into phantoms? In this Pokémon world, already scarred by wars that orphaned human children, your Cubone stands as the purest emblem of bereavement. Its bone club cracks not just foes, but the illusion of safety. Every swing echoes a mother's final breath, every cry a plea for the family that can never reform. You feel it in the Game Boy's tinny chiptune sobs, drifting from tall grass on Route 11, pulling you into the grief. And as we linger on these masked wanderers, their bony helmets glinting under moonlit roots, another enigma awaits in the shadows of Johto's forests, a forgotten sphere pulsing with temporal secrets. Tune in next for Chapter 5, The Lost Guardian of the GS Ball, where a single Pokéball hides a scrapped legend that could rewrite time itself. From the shadowed grief of a Cubone clutching its mother's eternal mask, we turn to another profound loss in Pokémon's tapestry, one that echoes across time itself. In the heart of Johto's lush forests, during the gold and silver era of the anime, a gleaming enigma appeared that promised to unravel the fabric of history. The GS Ball. This wasn't just any Pokeball. Crafted from an otherworldly gold, it hummed with an unnatural weight, as if burdened by secrets too vast for mortal hands. Ash Ketchum, fresh from his indigo triumphs, stumbled upon it in the swirling mists of the Ilex forest. Delivered by Celebi's ethereal touch, though no one knew that then. Picture Ash cradling this radiant orb, its surface catching the dappled sunlight, like liquid sunlight, frozen in time. He races it to Kurt, the enigmatic craftsman of Azalea Town, whose workshop reeks of polished apricorns and aged wood. Kurt's eyes widen as he hefts it. It's far heavier than any Pokeball he's forged. This requires careful study, he mutters, vanishing into his back room with the prize. Episode after episode builds the anticipation. Trainers whisper about it in passing. Team Rocket schemes to steal it, sensing its power. The GS ball becomes a dangling thread, pulling viewers deeper into Johto's mysteries. What legendary resides within? Why does it pulse with such forbidden energy? Fans waited, breath held, through beachside battles and forest trials. But then, silence. Utter, abrupt silence. By the time Ash conquers the World Cup or faces the Orange League echoes in his dreams, the GS ball is gone, erased from the narrative without a whisper. No opening, no reveal, no explanation. It simply vanishes, leaving a void that spanned nearly a decade. From 1999, when Johto first aired, to 2008, speculation festered like an untreated wound. Forums buzzed with theories. Was it Mew? Ho-Oh? A glitch in the Pokédex timeline? Some swore it held the essence of time itself, a portal to Mewtwo's origins or the Unknown's riddles. Others imagined it as a trap for Ash's destiny, abandoned when the writers shifted gears. That void cracked open in 2008, when Masamitsu Hidaka, the director behind Johto's shimmering episodes, finally spoke. In a quiet interview, he unveiled the truth. The GS ball was crafted to contain Celebi, the time-travelling guardian of the forest. An entire anime arc had been meticulously planned, a sprawling saga of temporal rifts, where Ash would chase echoes of his past selves through warped forests and crumbling ruins. Celebi, with its gentle chime and verdant wings, was to emerge as the lost guardian, weaving threads of what-ifs across the seasons. But the winds of production shifted. The Pokémon Forever movie demanded precedence. That cinematic spectacle, released in 2002, snatched Celebi for its spotlight, twisting the mythical's tale into a tale of reunion and reluctant goodbyes under a canopy of eternal spring. The pivot was ruthless. Scripts scrapped, storyboards shelved, the GS ball reduced to a relic of abandoned ambition. Hidaka's revelation hit like a thunderclap after years of drought, confirming not just the contents, but the heartbreak of paths not taken. Imagine the animator's late nights, pencil sketching Celebi's spirals through time, only for it all to dissolve into ether. The ball, once a beacon, became a tombstone for unrealized dreams. In the anime's canon, it lingers as a ghost. Kurt studies it off-screen, perhaps sensing its temporal heart. But the guardians of Ilex Forest reclaim it, spiriting it away before Ash can witness the miracle. This is the GS ball's true power as a symbol, not just of Celebi's hidden vigil, but of abandoned timelines woven into Pokémon's lore. Every unfinished thread mirrors the roads not travelled, Ash's potential mastery delayed, rivalries unresolved, legends glimpsed but never grasped. It's the Pokéball that could have bridged Johto to the stars, revealing how time folds upon itself like a Mobius strip of fate. Fans still pore over frozen frames, hunting for subliminal glows in Kurt's workshop. Convinced, the ball whispers to those who listen closely at midnight. What if that arc had aired? Would Celebi have reshaped Ash's journey, pulling him into loops of regret and redemption? The absence aches, a reminder that in Pokémon's world, some guardians are lost not to battle, but to the cruel editor's blade. Yet these echoes of vanished stories lead us inevitably to flames that birthed new legends from ruin. Up next, Chapter 6, Ashes of the Brass Tower, where a catastrophic blaze swallowed lives and Pokémon alike, only for a rainbow-winged phoenix to breathe fury and frost back into the ashes, hinting at horrors far deadlier than any forgotten ball. As the echoes of that forgotten GS ball fade into Johto's whispering winds, another shadow lingers over the region's ancient spires, where fire once devoured a tower that pierced the heavens. The brass tower in Ecruteak City stood tall for centuries, a counterpart to the radiant tin tower, both said to summon the divine birds of legend. But one fateful night, flames erupted from its base, deswallowing the structure in a blaze so fierce it reduced golden timbers to charred bones, leaving only a skeletal ruin that sways against stormy skies even today. No one knows what sparked that inferno, the great fire of Ecrutake they call it still. Some whisper of human folly, a ritual gone awry under the cover of night. Others point to the fury of nature itself, lightning striking dry thatch during a tempest. What lingers clearest in the folklore, etched into the stones of Ecrutake's dance theatre, and murmured by elders in the kimonos of old, are the 3 Pokémon who rushed into that hellish maw. Nameless souls, ordinary creatures drawn by instinct or loyalty, they perished amid the roar of collapsing beams and the acrid bite of smoke. You can almost hear their final cries cutting through the crackle of embers, desperate paws scraping against blistering floors as the tower groaned its last. These weren't beasts of myth from the start. No thundering hooves or crystalline fur marked them then. They were everyday wanderers of Johto's misty paths. Perhaps a spark of electricity in one's veins, a rumble of earth in another, a gentle flow of water in the third. Legends don't name them, don't etch their forms into scrolls or Pokédex pages. They vanish into the haze of that night, reduced to ash alongside the tower's sacred relics. Yet their story refuses to end in silence, because from those scorched remains rose a miracle that still haunts the windswept plains. High above the inferno circled Ho-Oh, the rainbow-winged phoenix whose gaze alone mends the fractured world. Witness to countless cycles of destruction and rebirth, it descended through the choking smoke, eyes glowing like twin suns. Touched by the selfless spirits of the fallen trio, Ho-Oh poured its divine essence into their lifeless husks. What emerged wasn't restoration, but transcendence. Bodies remade in elemental fury, infused with powers echoing the very flames that claimed them. The one struck by lightning in the blaze awoke as Raikou, a thunderclap incarnate, its mane crackling with perpetual storm. Beside it roared Entei, forged from the fire's heart, volcanoes breathing in its lungs, magma veins pulsing beneath fur like molten rivers. And gliding purest among them, Suicune, born of the purifying rains that doused the aftermath, its crystalline body shimmering with the clarity of northern winds. These legendary beasts, they call them now, Raikou, Entei, is Suicune, blessed guardians of Johto's wilds, but immortality came at a cost woven into their reborn forms. They roam endlessly, phantoms streaking across fog-shrouded roots and jagged peaks, forever chasing the lives snuffed out in that tower. Raikou bolts through thunderheads, forever pursuing the spark it once held so briefly. Entei bounds over smouldering craters, hungering for the warmth of a world unburned. Suicune glides over poisoned streams, cleansing what fire corrupted, yet never quenching its own spectral thirst. They appear to trainers in fleeting glimpses, a blur of lightning on Route 37, a volcanic growl near Kianwood's shores, a ribbon of aurora purifying the tainted waters of the Cliff Edge Gate. Pokédex entries capture fragments of their torment. Raikou, they say, races the storms it commands. A legend born to avenge a blaze, long cold. Entei's roar shakes mountains, summoning geysers of flame as if to reignite what was lost. Suicune, the most elusive, trails a diamond dust that heals the land, driven by an urge to wash away ashes that cling eternally to its spirit. In heart gold and soul silver, you feel their presence strongest at the burned tower's husk. Step inside, and the air thickens with static, heat mirages, and a chill mist, as if the trio circles still, waiting for Ho-Oh's next summons. Yet questions burn brighter than any fire. What were these Pokémon before the blaze? Wild allies caught in the chaos, or sacred wards of the tower itself? Did they die saving a human priest, or each other in a chain of doomed heroism? The games offer no portraits, No origins beyond vague HGSS plaques. 3 Pokémon perished. Ho-Oh revived them with a blessing. Anime glimpses tease more, a shadowed trio fleeing flames in Johto episodes, but even there, their faces dissolve into myth. And why this tower? Twin to the tin tower where Ho-Oh perches, the brass one symbolised earthbound strength, its fall a crack in Johto's celestial balance. Travellers swear they've seen the beasts converge near Ecruteak during meteor showers, their cries harmonising in a dirge that rattles windows. They don't rest, don't evolve, don't bond fully with any trainer. Their cycle is eternal vigilance, a penance or purpose tied to that single night. Ho-Oh watches from afar, perhaps waiting for the day they reclaim what flames stole, or until another calamity demands their fury. In the quiet hours after midnight, when Ecruteak's lanterns flicker low, stand at the burned tower's edge. Feel the ground tremble faintly, taste the phantom smoke on the breeze. Those nameless 3 live on, not as they were, but as restless legends, their chase weaving through Johto's veins like embers in the dark. And as their paths diverge into the horizon once more, we turn to Sinnoh, where a league's glory hides an even greater enigma. Up next in Chapter 7, the shadow of the Sinnoh League. From the smouldering ruins of Ecruteak's brass tower, where Ho-Oh forged eternal guardians, from the brink of oblivion, our gaze shifts northward to the frosted peaks and churning seas of Sinnoh. Here in the heart of the region's grandest tournament, a figure materialised like a spectre from the fog. Tobias, the trainer who dismantled an entire league with a single command to the god of nightmares. You remember Ash Ketchum's grueling climb through the Sinnoh League, don't you? Badges earned in blistering battles across Veilstone, Sunny Shore and Snow Point. Rivals like Paul pushed him to his limits, their strategies honed like blades against the chill winds. The semi-finals roared with anticipation, crowds swelling under the stadium lights. But then Tobias stepped into the arena. No fanfare, no entourage, just a man cloaked in shadow, his eyes distant, as if he'd wandered in from another world entirely. His first Pokémon? Darkrai? Not some facsimile or shadow of legend, but the real harbinger of eternal slumber. The pitch-black Pokémon, whose mere presence twisted reality into phantasms of dread. Darkrai doesn't yield to mortals. Pokédex entries whisper of it drifting through silent nights, cursing entire towns with unending nightmares that shatter minds and leave victims comatose under moonless skies. In Sinnoh's myths, it's the outcast deity, forever fleeing Cresselia's judgment, haunting places like New Moon Island, where reality frays at the edges. Yet Tobias unleashed it without hesitation. Darkrai's dark void swallowed opponents whole, folding them into voids from which they never recovered. One by one, challengers fell. Elite trainers with teams forged over years, reduced to trembling wrecks as their Pokémon clawed at illusions that weren't there. Tobias didn't even break a sweat. He swept the league unbeaten, claiming the championship trophy as if it were predestined. But that's only the beginning of the enigma. As Ash faced him in the finals, the world held its breath. Tobias's Darkrai dismantled Pikachu's allies with surgical precision. Infernape's flames snuffed out in a nightmare haze. Buizel's waves turned against it in drowning reveries. Only Pikachu endured, forcing Tobias to reveal his ace, Latios, the Eon Pokémon. Guardian of Altomare's sacred waters, a dragon of pure psychic fury whose speed blurs the line between flight and teleportation. Latios too belonged to him, effortlessly, as if these weren't untamable legends, but extensions of his will. How does one even approach such beings? Darkrai's capture demands navigating perpetual darkness on an island wreathed in illusions, where time loops and sanity unravels. Trainers who seek it vanish or return hollow-eyed, babbling of endless fools through starless voids. Latios? It soars untethered, phasing through dimensions, loyal only to its twin Latios or the pure of heart in far-off cities. No Ultra Ball or Master Ball lore accounts for this. Tobias offered no tales of epic quests, no badges from distant lands, no prior tournament records. He materialized in Sinno's League registry like a glitch in the system. Origin unknown, past erased. Fans scoured databases, episode credits, even official art books. Nothing. No hometown, no mentor, not even a glimpse of his full 6 Pokémon roster. Did the other 4 harbour more gods? Lugia, Mewtwo? The speculation festers because the anime cut away, leaving his dominance a void. Consider the impossibility layered upon impossibility. Pokémon leagues enforce rules. 6 Pokémon maximum, no duplicates of species, and legendaries? They're taboo, whispered as unfair edges even among elites. Cynthia herself, Sinno's champion, wields Garchomp like a living earthquake, but she bows to the balance of nature. Tobias? He paraded deities openly, and the league let it stand. No protests from officials, no disqualifications. The crowd cheered as if enthralled. What hold did he have over these primordials? Theories swirl in the dim corners of forums and late-night streams. Some claim experimental tech from a hidden lab, splicing human will with legendary essence. Others point to Sinno's creation myths. Arceus birthing Dialga, Palkia, Giratina from nothingness. Could Tobias be a vessel for that same Genesis force? And then there's the deity tamer hypothesis, the one that chills the spine in the quiet hours. What if Tobias isn't human at all? Picture a league teetering on the edge of obscurity, ratings dipping after endless Ash losses. Or enter a manifestation, conjured by the Pokémon world's own narrative engine, the Sinnoh League's desperate bid for immortality, a shadow puppet woven from collective dreams, commanding nightmares to affirm the god's subservience to human ambition. His disappearance post-victory fuels it. No victory lap, no interviews, no defences of his title. He faded into ether, Darkrai and Latios trailing like obedient shades, leaving Ash with hollow words of respect and a league forever scarred. Dig deeper and patterns emerge. Tobias's silence mirrors other phantoms in Pokémon lore. The Ghost Girl gliding through Lumios elevators, or the Burn Tower's nameless dead. His team hints at psychic dominion over the subconscious, Darkrai's dream invasion, Latios's mind-melding empathy. Perhaps he tamed them not with Pokeballs, but by becoming the nightmare itself. Interviews with anime staff dodge direct answers, calling him a plot device for Ash's growth, but that rings hollow. Why arm him with unbeatable forces if not to probe the boundaries? What if his arrival tested Sinnoh's champions, weeding out the unworthy before Cynthia's reign solidified? Theories multiply like shadows at dusk. A rogue agent from Team Galactic, Cyrus's discarded prototype for controlling legendaries? Unlikely. Cyrus sought Dialga's annihilation of time, not tournament glory. Or a time-displaced wanderer, pulling Darkrai from future plagues and Latios from orphaned skies. Yet no evidence surfaces. Fan recreations in games like Pokémon Showdown crash under the weight of his implied power. Even in remasters or spin-offs, Tobias remains absent. A deliberate omission that screams intentional mystery. His shadow lingers over every league since. Trainers whisper his name before full battles, half expecting Dark Void to descend. Ash moved on, but you can hear the unease in his voice during that final clash, the flicker of doubt as Pikachu faced gods. Tobias didn't just win, he redefined mastery, proving, or mocking, that humans can leash the divine. Or perhaps the divine allows the leash, biding time in the dark. But if Tobias embodied the league's pinnacle, what haunts its fringes? What unseen tragedies lurk in Sinnoh's fog-shrouded houses, where nightmares claim the innocent before any champion can intervene? That question pulls us toward the girl in the strange house next. Her story a whisper of loss that even Darkrai might envy. Before we dive deeper into this incredible journey, I'm curious, Kai, Where in the world are you watching this from? Drop a comment below and let our global community know. And if you're finding this as mind-blowing as I am, hit that like button to help more people discover this story. While Tobias commanded Darkrai like a conqueror in the Sinnoh League, that pitch-black legendary cast a far subtler shadow over the region's forgotten corners, where its nightmares didn't just terrify, they devoured lives whole. Tucked away on a windswept route blanketed in eternal snow, shrouded by the biting chill near Snowpoint City, stands the Strange House, a crumbling villa that locals whisper about only in hushed tones, its windows dark eyes staring out at passers-by who dare venture too close. You approach through the drifts, the crunch of snow underfoot, the only sound breaking the silence, until the outline emerges, weathered stone walls, cracked by time, vines clawing up like desperate fingers, a heavy door creaking open on its own, as if inviting you into its secrets. Step inside, and the air thickens, heavy with the scent of dust and something sweeter, like faded lavender. Lights flicker to life, unbidden, casting long shadows that dance across faded wallpaper, peeling like old skin. Footprints appear on the floorboards, where none should be, small, childlike prints leading upstairs, vanishing as you follow. Up there, in a room frozen in time, she waits, the girl. Her apparition glides into view, pale dress fluttering without a breeze, eyes wide with a sorrow that pierces straight through you. She murmurs just one thing before fading, words lost to the ether, but heavy with longing. Downstairs, another spirit lingers, a solemn figure who finally breaks the quiet. He speaks of her in a voice like rustling leaves, their daughter, plagued by endless nightmares that twisted her sleep into torment. No ordinary dreams, these. They came from Darkrai itself, the Nightmare King slinking from the shadows of Full Moon Island, its red eyes weaving horrors that left her wasting away, body trapped in a coma of terror, while her mind screamed unheard. Her parents couldn't bear it. Desperate, they set out across Sinnoh's treacherous seas to New Moon Island, seeking Cresselia, the moonlit guardian whose lunar wing could shatter any nightmare's grip. That shimmering feather, plucked from her plumage, holds the power to banish Darkrai's curse, restoring peace to shattered sleep. They knew the legends whispered in Kanalav's libraries, and the tales of sailors who'd glimpsed her crescent form, gliding over waves under full moons. Days turned to weeks as blizzards raged and paths grew lost, but hope drove them on. Imagine their return, feather clutched tight, only to find silence greeting them at the villa's door. She was gone. The nightmares had won. Too late, always too late. That irony cuts deepest. Darkrai and Cresselia, eternal foes locked in cosmic balance, pitch darkness versus silvery light. Endless night against soothing dreams. One brings the abyss that swallows the unwary. The other offers fragile salvation. Yet here, in this forsaken house, the scales tipped cruelly. Darkrai's influence seeped in unchecked, its presence felt not through battles or leagues, but through the quiet horror of a child's bedside vigil. Why her? Why this villa? I perched on the edge of Sinnoh's icy frontier, where the northern lights sometimes flicker like mocking stars. The ghosts don't say, but their lingering confirms it. She died waiting, her spirit bound to the very walls that sheltered her suffering. This tragedy echoes through Pokémon lore, like a half-remembered bad dream, tying the Strange House to a web of sleep-wrought disasters that haunt the world beyond Sinnoh's borders. Think of the misty island where Hypno's pendulum sways, luring children into hypnotic trances from which they never wake, ghostly figures said to wander its shores, victims of dream eaters who feast on innocence, or Driflon, those balloon-like spectres drifting from Unova's coasts, whispering promises of adventure to lonely kids before carrying them off to realms unseen, their strings tugging souls toward the afterlife. Drowsy huffs hypnotic gases in sleepy towns, snatching nightmares to savour like stolen candy. leaving hollow shells in cribs. Even in Hisui's ancient annals, warped beasts born from folklore prey on the resting, Ursaluna under blood moons, its form twisted by forgotten rituals that blur the line between slumber and savagery. These aren't random cruelties, they form a pattern, an undercurrent of rest turned lethal. Pokémon lore paints a world where sleep isn't refuge, but battlefield. Legendaries like Darkrai wielding it as a weapon, subtler than any type chart. In the Strange House, that war claimed its smallest casualty. Her parents' quest a futile pilgrimage, mirroring every parent's dread, racing against shadows that move faster than hope. The villa's hauntings persist, a light snapping on to guide unseen visitors, footprints marking paths to nowhere, whispers pleading for the one who never came. Players who brave it report chills that linger long after leaving, a heaviness in their own dreams that night. Is she still waiting, somehow, for that lunar wing to arrive? Or does Darkrai's laughter echo in the rafters, mocking Cressilia's eternal delay? The ghosts guard their full truth, but one thing rings clear. In Sinno's snows, nightmares don't fade with dawn. They build houses to live in forever. And yet, as we leave the Strange House's frozen vigil, those shattered dreams point to fractures even deeper in the Pokémon world's bones. Twin dragons torn asunder by fraternal betrayal, their empty husk wandering in eternal hunger. We'll uncover that primal rift next in Chapter 9, the original dragon's schism. From the shadowed villa of Sinno, where Darkrai's nightmares eclipsed Cressilia's fragile light, we turn to another fracture in the Pokémon world, one born not of curses or delayed salvation, but of a primal rift that shattered a god itself. In the ancient heart of Unova, long before the gleaming towers of Castelia or the wind-swept plains of Route 4, there existed a singular entity of unimaginable power. This was the original dragon, a colossal being of pure dragon essence, revered as the source of all life and conflict in that vast land. Towering over mountains, its scales shimmered with the raw energy of creation, embodying unity in a form that pulsed with both light and shadow intertwined. The legend whispers of two brothers, heroes of their time, who rose from humble origins to challenge the very fabric of their world. The elder brother sought truth above all, chasing unyielding facts through endless quests, his path lit by the clarity of what is. The younger clung to ideals, dreaming of what could be, forging visions from the fires of possibility. At first, their differences fueled progress. They built cities from the wilderness, tamed the untamable beasts, and drew upon the original dragon's might to elevate Unova into an age of enlightenment. You can almost feel the echo of their early triumphs, vast libraries filled with scrolls of discovery, forges hammering out tools of innovation. The dragon coiled protectively around their shared throne, its breath warming the frost-kissed nights. But harmony eroded like sand under relentless waves. Debates turned to disputes, then accusations, until the brothers' philosophies clashed like thunderheads. Truth versus ideals, what began as philosophical sparring ignited into open war. Armies marched across the blackened earth. Pokémon unleashed in fury, cities reduced to smouldering ruins. The elder demanded proof of loyalty, stripping away illusions. The younger rallied followers with promises of a perfect future, blind to harsh realities. In the eye of this storm stood the original dragon, bound to both, yet torn by their divide. Witnesses from ancient murals in Dragon Spiral Tower depict it writhing in agony, its form elongating, cracking under the strain of allegiance to opposing masters. Then came the cataclysm. As the brothers faced off on the shattered plains, weapons drawn and Pokémon at their sides, the dragon could bear no more. Legends carved into Unova's oldest stones tell how its body convulsed, its energy surging in violent opposition. Truth pulled one way, ideals the other, until the impossible happened. The godlike entity physically tore apart. From its core erupted two radiant halves, the elder claimed Reshiram. the white dragon of truth, its turbine wings blazing with fiery certainty, eyes piercing like beacons of absolute knowledge. The younger seized Zekrom, the black dragon of ideals, thunder crackling from its tail, embodying relentless pursuit of conviction, no matter the cost. What remained was Kyurem, the grey husk, a frozen fragment adrift in the giant chasm, its form incomplete, hollowed out like a vessel drained of soul. Kyurem drifts through those icy depths even now, a tragic spectre of what was lost. Pokédex entries paint it as the emptiest of legends, its body a shell of jagged ice and lingering dragon power. I are forever chilled by the absence of its siblings. It yearns, you see, that's the haunting core of its existence. In Pokémon Black and White, it lurks in the chasm's abyss, stirring only when Reshiram or Zekrom draw near, drawn by an instinctive pull to reunite. When fused through the DNA splicers, it becomes Black Kyurem or White Kyurem, swollen with borrowed might, yet still fractured. A patchwork god that roars with borrowed fire or thunder, but never wholeness. Imagine the desolation, endless blizzards howling through crystalline caverns, Kyurem's crimson eyes glowing faintly, scanning horizons for halves that wander Unova's skies forever out of reach. This schism lingers unresolved, a wound in Unova's lore that no game has fully healed. Why did the original dragon split so catastrophically? Was it a willing sacrifice, or punishment from Arceus for the brothers' hubris? Murals in Dragon Spiral Tower hint at deeper truths, spirals of light and dark coiling eternally, but the full tale dissolves into myth. Reshiram soars over Osiris City, challenging trainers to prove their pursuit of truth. Zekrom storms the Chargestone Caves, demanding tests of ideals. Kyurem, meanwhile, freezes En's castle in a bid for reunion, only to shatter apart once more. The brothers themselves fade into legend. Did they perish in their war, or ascend with their dragons, leaving Unova to grapple with the consequences? The echoes of that primal tear ripple through every conflict in the region, a reminder that even gods fracture under the weight of human folly. Truth and ideals, forever pitted, birthing rivals who circle each other across generations. And Kyurem endures, that yearning void at the world's edge, a frozen plea for what was whole. But if such divine loneliness chills you, wait until we step into the flickering elevators of Lumio City, where a gliding ghost murmurs, "You are not the one," searching endlessly for her chosen soul. From the shattered remnants of Unova's original dragon, forever chasing a reunion that may never come, our gaze shifts to the glittering streets of Kalos, where lights pierce the night like false stars, hiding shadows that refuse to rest. You step off the elevator in that towering building in Lumio City, the doors sliding shut behind you with a mechanical sigh. The air grows thick, unnaturally still, carrying a faint chill that seeps through your clothes. No footsteps echo on the polished floor, but you sense her presence before you see her. A pale figure in a simple dress, her form flickering like a projection from another world. She doesn't walk, she glides, feet hovering inches above the ground. Her movements smooth and deliberate, defying gravity as she circles you slowly, her wide eyes fixed on your face with an intensity that stops your breath. "You're not the one," she whispers, her voice a hollow echo that reverberates off the walls, laced with sorrow deeper than any cry from a Pokémon in pain. Before you can respond, before you can even blink, she dissolves into mist, leaving the room empty once more. The only trace a lingering drop in temperature that makes your skin prickle. Players across the world reported the same encounter in Pokémon X and Y. Random, unprompted, gone in seconds. But why you? Why that building? Shrouded in the perpetual glow of Lumios's eternal daytime? She wasn't hostile, not like the ghosts of Lavender Tower or the spirits of Hisui. No, this was something personal, a judgment delivered in the quiet heart of the City of Light. Word spread quickly among trainers who dared explore every shadowed corner of Kalos. Theories swirled like the fog rolling off Route 14. Was she a lost soul from the Great War Lieutenant Surge whispered about? Or a remnant of some forgotten Colossian myth bound to repeat her vigil? You revisit the spot night after night in your game, waiting for the elevator to deliver you back to her domain. But she chooses her moments, appearing only to a select few, always with that gliding patrol, scanning faces as if cataloguing every traveller who passes through. Then the trail leads far from Kalos, and across oceans to Hone, to the summit of Mount Pyre, that solemn graveyard where the dead are laid to rest amid swirling ashes and mournful winds. In Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, she materializes again, unbidden, in the heart of this Pokémon necropolis. The air here hums with the unrest of departed spirits, hex maniacs chanting prayers to the pyre's eternal flame. And there she is, gliding once more across the stone platforms, her dress billowing without wind, eyes searching the horizon as if expecting someone to rise from the graves below. "You're not the one," she repeats, her voice cutting through the distant cries of wild Pokémon, vanishing just as abruptly into the ether. The consistency chills deeper than any ice beam. Same phrase, same ethereal glide, same piercing gaze. Mount Pyre isn't random. It's a place of finality, where souls are committed to the afterlife. Yet she returns here, drawn back like a moth to flame, implying her quarry lingers among the departed, or perhaps haunts the living who visit. Trainers who encountered her in Lumio swore they felt watched afterward, as if she'd marked them, dismissed them, and moved on to the next. What soul does she seek with such relentless precision? Her pattern suggests a bond unbroken by death. A lover, a child, a twin lost to Carlos's hidden calamities. Carlos' lore drips with unfinished threads after all. Remember the power plant on Route 10, its corridors sealed behind locked doors you can never breach. Gates that bar entry to chambers humming with unseen energy. Rooms whispered to hold prototypes of ultimate weapons or fragments of Zygarde's cellular army. Left dormant since X and Y's abrupt cutoff. Her developers scrapped expansions that would have delved into Zygard's role as guardian against Mega Evolution's chaos, leaving the plant a tomb of what-ifs. She glides through Lumios, a city built on lights that mimic the sun, perhaps fleeing or drawn to the power plant's glow, those forbidden rooms where experiments on life and energy blurred lines between worlds. Is the one trapped there a scientist's soul fused with Zygard's essence, or a victim of the ultimate weapons test fires? Her reappearance on Mount Pyre ties it together. Hoen's cemetery as a waypoint for restless Colossian spirits. Her search echoing across regions, consistent in its tragedy. No Gen 7 games, no later titles bring her back. She fades into limbo, much like Kalos's narrative, i.e. cut short before Zygarde's full awakening or the power plant's secrets could spill. Players pored over data mines, speedruns, glitches, anything to summon her again. But she remains elusive, her glide a memory etched in fan wikis and late-night forums. That phrase lingers, a curse on every trainer who hears it. You're not the one. Who is? The question hangs in the Kalos air, thick as fog, pulling you deeper into the region's unresolved heart. And as her story dissolves like mist at dawn, we turn to Hisui's shadowed peaks, where ancient curses twist beasts under a blood moon's glow, birthing horrors that eclipse even her eternal vigil in Chapter 11, the Blood Moon's Curse. Her endless search through the glowing spires of Lumio City leaves us pondering what drives a soul to cling so desperately to the living world, forever dismissing those who aren't the one. Yet in the shadowed valleys of Kitakami, far from electric lights and crowded streets, another kind of unrest festers. Not a ghost adrift, but a beast bound by curse, its rage etched into the very peaks it patrols. This is the tale of the Blood Moon Ursaluna, a Pokémon twisted by isolation, ancient rituals, and a moon that bleeds crimson over forsaken lands. Nestled in the rugged heart of what was once Hisui, now woven into the distant legends of Paldea, Kitakami unfolds like a forgotten scroll of folklore. Picture mist-shrouded mountains where villagers huddle in thatched homes, whispering of ogres and yokai under festivals of loyalty and kitsune masks. The air hangs heavy with the scent of pine and damp earth, and nights stretch long, pierced only by the howls echoing from Ogerpon's domain. But deeper in these wilds lies a story older than the loyal Three Shrines, a myth born from the clash of human desperation and Pokémon ferocity. The people of Kitakami speak of the Akamado no Noroi, the curse of the red pine moon, a phenomenon where the lunar glow shifts to a deep, arterial red, summoning guardians warped beyond recognition. At the centre of this dread stands Ursaluna, but not the earthy behemoth you might know from Hisui's peat bogs. No, the blood moon variant emerges as a harbinger, its fur matted crimson like fresh wounds, eyes glowing with feral hunger, and claws that rend stone as easily as flesh. Traditional Ursaluna evolved from Ursaring under a full moon's gentle light, their bodies swelling with primal strength drawn from the soil itself. But in Kitakami's secluded crags, evolution took a darker path, fueled by relics called secret keys, obscure evolutionary items shrouded in taboo, passed down through hermit clans who meddled with forces they barely understood. These keys weren't mere stones or herbs. They were fragments of ancient Hisuian alchemy, harvested from meteor-shattered peaks or the hearts of extinct beasts. Legends claim the first was forged during Hisui's turbulent era, when surveyors from the Diamond Clan and Pearl Clan vied for dominance, experimenting with evolution to create weapons against the Red Sky's calamities. Isolation amplified the horror. Cut off by avalanches and endless storms, remote Kitakami villages turned inward, their shamans invoking these keys in blood rites under rare blood moons, lunar eclipses stained by atmospheric ash from volcanic vents. A lone Ursaring, perhaps the last of its migratory line stranded in these heights, consumed such a key during one cataclysmic night. Its body convulsed, not in harmonious growth, but in agony, as the curse rewrote its essence. The transformation defies natural Pokémon biology. Standard Ursaluna bulk up with nutrient-rich peat, their hides toughening like armoured bark. But the Blood Moon's influence, perhaps irradiated by celestial energies or tainted by the key's forbidden minerals, mutates at a cellular level. Fur hardens into thorned plates, veins pulse with luminescent red sap, and its roar warps into a guttural chant, mimicking Kitakami's ancient dirges. Eyewitness accounts from fearful trappers describe it as twice the size, moving with unnatural silence despite its mass, only to erupt in territorial fury when humans encroach. It claims entire ridges as its domain, shredding intruders and marking boulders with claw scars that glow under moonlight, a warning to all. This land is cursed, its protector eternal. What elevates this from mere mutation to myth is the intersection of human folly and Pokémon instinct. In Hisui's chronicles, preserved in fragile scrolls from Jubilife village outposts, we find echoes of similar experiments. The region's alchemists, obsessed with taming legendaries like the Lake Trio, dabbled in paradoxical evolutions, blending Hisuian resources with mainland curiosity smuggled across seas. Kitakami, geographically savoured by sheer cliffs and poisoned mists, became a petri dish for these horrors. The secret keys acted as catalysts, unlocking recessive genes dormant in Ursaring lines, genes perhaps awakened by exposure to space-time rifts, those tears in reality dotting Hisui's landscape. The resulting blood moon. Ursaluna isn't just stronger, it's a cryptid, sighted only during lunar anomalies, vanishing into fog like a yokai from local tales. Villagers recount how the curse propagates. Those who glimpse it under the red moon report fevered dreams of endless hunger, compelled to seek out peat bogs and devour handfuls until their skin itches with unnatural growth. A few unfortunates hermits gone mad, attempted to replicate the evolution, swallowing key shards in moonlit ceremonies. Their remains, found years later, bore partial mutations, elongated claws, crimson streaks in their hair. The Pokémon itself enforces the isolation, patrolling borders with seismic stomps that trigger rock slides, ensuring no outsider disrupts the cycle. Is it guardian or prisoner? Folklore paints it as both, avenging the ancient Ursaring herds slaughtered by Hisuian settlers for their pelts. Now a solitary sentinel warped by vengeance, this fusion of myth and mutation reveals Pokémon lore's darkest undercurrent, evolution as a double-edged blade, where human ambition twists nature's gifts into nightmares. In Kitakami, the Blood Moon Ursaluna embodies territorial cryptid perfection, elusive, unstoppable, a living curse that binds the land in quiet terror. No trainer has claimed it. Pokédex entries warn of its aggression toward balls and bonds alike. It prowls alone, under that ominous glow, a reminder that some evolutions demand a price paid in blood and solitude. As the echoes of its distant bellows fade into the night, we turn our gaze to coastal whispers, even more sinister, where balloon-like spectres lure the innocent away forever. Next time, in Chapter 12, the Driflon disappearances uncover the chilling vanishings tied to playful ghosts and seaside graves that hide a far grimmer truth. From the shadowed peaks of Kitakami, where ancient curses twist familiar beasts into nightmares, our gaze shifts to the windswept fields of Sinno, a region where even the breeze whispers of lost innocence. Every Friday at 4 in the afternoon, just outside the Valley Windworks, a pair of pale purple balloons drifts into view, bobbing gently on the gusts like forgotten party favours from some long-abandoned celebration. These are no ordinary balloons. They are Driflon, the ghost and flying type Pokémon known for tugging at the hands of curious children, whisking them away into the vast, unforgiving sky. The Pokédex doesn't shy away from the horror. In the words of the original entries, Driflon appears before graves, searching for souls to carry off. If you get too close, it will try to take you away with its cold, ragged hands. A child who mistakes it for a real balloon and holds on will be carried off to the afterlife. Picture those open meadows around the Windworks, the massive fans humming in the distance, powering the region with their relentless spin. Locals know the routine all too well. Come Friday, families keep their kids indoors, doors bolted, windows latched. Yet sightings persist year after year, like clockwork. Why Fridays? Why that exact hour? Some say it's tied to the day children play outside most freely after school, the wind picking up just as laughter fills the air. Others whisper of older rituals, forgotten festivals, where balloons mark the passage of the departed. Dig deeper into the Pokédex across generations, and the pattern grows darker. In Heart Gold and Soul Silver, it drifts around hospitals and graveyards at dusk, drawn to the freshly departed. Emerald's entry chills the blood. If for some reason your Drifloon bursts, instead of air, it spews out souls. Bursting? Souls? These aren't playful details for a kid's game. They're fragments of folklore baked into the code, hinting at Drifloon as a psychopomp, a ferryman for the young and unwary. The Valley Windworks itself stands as ground zero for these hauntings. Nestled between Eterna Forest and the Route 204 crossroads, it's a hulking factory of steel and turbines, surrounded by tall grass that rustles with unseen movement. Trainers report eerie sensations there, sudden drops in temperature, faint cries on the wind that aren't Pidgey or Starly. One archived trainer log from the games describes Drifloon materializing without warning, its hollow eyes fixed on the player before it drifts toward the nearby farmhouses. But it's the disappearances that linger in Sinnoh's collective memory. Whispers from the anime and fan-compiled lore point to clusters of missing children in the area, always around those weekly sightings. A girl in a red dress, last seen clutching a string, a boy chasing what he thought was a prize from the Floaroma Town Flower Festival. No bodies recovered, yet no traces left behind, just empty swings creaking in the breeze and parents left staring at the horizon. Game Freak never scripted these tales outright, but the Pokédex plants the seed. Drifloon doesn't just float aimlessly, it hunts. Consider its evolution, too. Drifblim, the massive airship-like form, with room enough in its basket for far more than one child. Pokédex claims it can carry people high into the clouds, dropping them only when full. Friendly? Hardly. This is a predator cloaked in whimsy, its porous body leaking a toxic gas that dulls the senses, making victims compliant as they're lifted away. Those jagged mouth tendrils aren't for show. They latch on, unyielding. In Sinno's lore, the Windworks ties into the broader ghost ecosystem. Nearby Old Chateau hosts its own spectral residents, and Eterna Forest hides spirits that prey on the lost. Drifloon fits seamlessly, a weekly lure in a land already thick with the supernatural. Researchers speculate the factory's electromagnetic fields attract these ghosts, amplifying their appearances. Or perhaps the wind itself, channeled through those giant blades, stirs the veil between worlds every Friday, summoning Drifloon from whatever limbo it haunts the rest of the week. Eyewitness accounts from the games and extended media paint a vivid portrait. A young trainer in Platinum recalls Drifloon hovering just beyond the grass, arms outstretched, beckoning silently. Grasp it, and the screen flickers with a ghostly warp. In the anime, echoes of this appear in episodes where balloon Pokémon drift too close to human settlements, always with an undercurrent of menace. No coincidence that Drifloon's cry sounds like a distant mournful wail echoing the sobs of those it's claimed. But why children? The Pokédex is explicit. They're drawn to the innocent, the pure-hearted who see wonder instead of warning. In a world where Pokémon are companions, Drifloon subverts that bond. It mimics joy, a floating toy on a string, only to betray it. Theories abound. Some link it to real-world yokai, like the Chinese paper lanterns that steal breaths from the sleeping. Others see it as Sinno's take on death's innocence thief, preying on the unscarred souls before life's battles harden them. The disappearances remain unsolved, etched into Sinno's map like a perpetual Friday curse. No official investigations in the games, no resolutions from Professor Rowan. Just the Windworks fans turning eternally, grinding the air with their hum as if mourning the voids left behind. Parents in Floaroma still tell tales around dinner tables, warning of the purple balloons that promise flights to nowhere. This thread of child-luring ghosts pulls us toward even more insidious lures in Sinno's shadows. In Chapter 13, Hypno's Lullaby, we unravel the hypnotic horrors of another deceptively gentle Pokémon, one whose pendulums swing children into eternal nightmares, far worse than a one-way trip on the wind. While Drifloon's ghostly balloons tug children seaward on those fateful weekend mornings, never to return from their one-way trip to the afterlife, a different horror stirs just beyond the waves, on the mist-shrouded shores of the Sevii Islands. There in the choking undergrowth of berry forest, a predator doesn't need strings or wind, it simply sings. Berry forest sprawls across Three Island like a living trap, its paths choked with wild oran berries that gleam unnaturally red under the perpetual canopy. Locals avoid it after dusk, whispering of a golden-eyed beast that mimics a mother's lullaby to draw wanderers deep inside. The trees twist into walls of shadow, berries bursting underfoot with a sickly squelch, and the air hangs heavy with an unnatural pollen that dulls the senses. No Pokémon cries echo here normally, just the faint, rhythmic tick-tock of something unnatural, swinging in the gloom. It started with Lostelle, a wide-eyed girl no older than 10, daughter of the island's Pokémon researcher. One humid afternoon in Pokémon Fire Red and Leaf Green, she slipped away from her home, lured by a melody too perfect to resist, a soft, pendulous sway that promised rest amid the heat. Her parents tore through the village in panic, pounding on doors, dredging the beaches for signs of balloon strings caught in the mangroves. Days passed with no trace until desperate travellers like you ventured into the forest's heart. There she stood, barefoot and swaying, eyes glassy as polished amber, murmuring nonsense about golden lights and endless sleep. Encircling her was Hypno, its pendulum necklace glinting like a forbidden beacon, swinging in lazy arcs that pulled the very will from her limbs. This wasn't mere coincidence. The village's tales stretch back generations, predating even the first Pokédex entries. Hypno evolved from the dream-munching drowsy, doesn't hunt with claws or fangs, it weaponizes sound itself. That pendulum isn't jewelry, it's a tool tuned to hypnotic frequencies, oscillating at roughly 4 to 7 Hz, the theta wave range, where human brains slip into trance. Swing after swing releases infrasonic pulses, vibrations too low for ears to catch but perfect for burrowing into the subconscious. Children, with their malleable minds, fall first, their defences weak, imaginations ripe for hijacking. Lostel wasn't the first. Elders speak of entire playgroups vanishing into the thicket, only empty shoes left at the forest's edge, as if the earth swallowed them whole. You confront Hypno there, in a clearing ringed by glowing mushrooms that pulse in time with its swings. Battle it, and the spell shatters. Lostel blinks awake, dazed but alive, claiming she followed the nice yellow man who sang of flying dreams. But rescue her, and the island breathes uneasy relief, knowing Hypno retreats only to hunger again. Why children? Why this forest? The Pokédex hints at the truth. Hypno swings its pendulum to draw prey far from safety, then feasts. Not on flesh, but on the essence of slumber. The dreams that flicker behind closed eyes. The consciousness that drifts in vulnerable hours. Dig deeper, and the frequencies reveal their cruelty. Real-world hypnosis mirrors this. A pendulum's motion entrains brainwaves, syncing alpha rhythms to theta, then delta, until the victim sleepwalks on command. Hypno amplifies it with psychic energy, layering subharmonics that bypass willpower entirely. Imagine the waveform, a slow sine curve dipping below 20 Hz, resonating in the chest like a distant heartbeat, compelling feet to move toward the source. Yidi trainers who've caught Hypno report nightmares for weeks after, vivid replays of endless forests, pendulums growing larger, swings blotting out the sky, and drowsy, its pre-evolution, slurps dream essence straight from sleeping nostrils, leaving victims with hollowed psyches, as if their inner worlds were vacuumed away. The implications chill deeper still. What if Hypno doesn't just lure for sport? Folklore ties it to vanished hamlets on outlying isles where whole families succumb to mass hypnosis, waking as shells who forgot their own names. Pokémon that feed on human consciousness challenge the world's facade. These aren't beasts to befriend, but parasites wearing familiar faces. Hypno's stare drains vitality, its lullaby a siren call that reprograms the mind, turning explorers into puppets. Lostel survived by luck, or perhaps your intervention, but how many didn't? Berry Forest hides shallow graves under berry bushes, they say, where dreamless husks lie with pendulums clutched in stiff fingers. Cross-reference the anime, and the pattern sharpens. Episode after episode paints Hypno as the ultimate abductor. In one, it mesmerizes an entire summer camp, marching kids into the woods for midnight feasts on their fears and fantasies. Parents arrive too late, finding only pendulums swaying in empty tents. Another tale links it to the ghost girl of the islands, perhaps a prior victim, her spirit trapped in eternal trance, haunting beaches where Driflon drops its prizes. The line blurs. Balloon to sea, Hypno to forest, both harvesting innocence under cover of care. Yet Hypno's genius lies in camouflage. It poses as a gentle shepherd, pendulum mimicking a mobile for infants, frequencies blending with ocean waves or rustling leaves. Trainers tame it for sleep therapy, oblivious to the undercurrent. That same swing could unravel a mind in seconds. What sustains it long term? Not stray dreams, but a dependency on human vulnerability, evolving alongside our nightmares. In a world where Pokémon bond with us, Hypno reminds us some bonds are one-sided, devouring. Berry Forest still stands, berries ripening eternally, pendulum ticks faint on the wind. Lostel grew up, they say, but flinches at yellow coats and avoids deep sleep. The lullaby lingers, a frequency etched in island stone, waiting for the next curious soul. Those hypnotic shadows seem tame next to the humming emptiness of the void of the power plant. Where forgotten machines whisper secrets, no mind can escape unscathed. I hope you're as amazed by this as I am. If you want to stay updated on more content like this, make sure to subscribe and join our community of curious minds. Trust me, what's coming next will challenge everything you thought you knew. As the hypnotic frequencies of Hypno faded into the misty undergrowth of Berry Forest, leaving Lostel and countless others teetering on the edge of oblivion, a different kind of void beckoned from the industrial wastelands of Kanto and Kalos. Power plants, those colossal husks of human ambition, stand silent today, their corridors choked with dust and flickering shadows, whispering of catastrophes that no official record dares to name. In Kanto, the power plant on Route 10 looms like a skeletal giant, accessible only by a chasm-spanning cable car that creaks against the wind. You step inside, and the air thickens with the metallic tang of ozone, walls scarred by blast marks, and half-melted conduits, snaking like veins long gone cold. This wasn't some natural abandonment. Engineers vanished mid-shift, generators seized in a cascade of overloads, birthing anomalies that still patrol the gloom. Voltorb rolls silently across grated floors, their crimson eyes pulsing like faulty warning lights, while Electrode explode in sudden fury, echoing the very detonations that sealed this place's fate. Cross into Kalos, and the power plant near Lumio City mirrors this desolation. Its perimeter fenced but interiors fractured, rooms locked behind keycards no living soul possesses. Elevators grind to unexplained halts, depositing wanderers into pitch-black voids where the hum of dormant turbines vibrates through your bones. Here, the air carries a sharper bite, laced with chemical runoff that pools in iridescent slicks. These facilities weren't built for Pokémon. They were fortresses of progress, harnessing lightning and plasma until something ruptured the barriers between machine and monster. What catastrophe felled them? Scattered logs, pieced from game files and faded Pokédex annotations, point to experiments that spiraled beyond control. In Kanto, leaked memos, unearthed by dedicated data miners, speak of containment breaches during the height of the Great War era, when Lieutenant Surge and his electric battalion pushed technologies to wartime extremes. Generators overloaded to spewing raw voltage that warped local wildlife into electric types. Magnemite swarms magnetized to live wires, their bodies fused with salvaged steel. But it was the poison that seeped deepest. Sludge from cooling vats, tainted by industrial accelerants, coalesced into Grimer and Mook, amorphous horrors slithering through pipes, born from the effluent of unchecked ambition. These weren't evolutionary flukes. They were byproducts of meltdowns, where chemical spills met overheated reactors, mutating sludge into sentient sludge that devours metal and flesh alike. Deeper in the lore, a chilling theory emerges from these ruins. Voltorb as the ultimate failed prototype, humanity's hubristic bid to bottle the Pokeball's arcane essence. Picture laboratories buzzing beneath the plants, the scientists dissecting captured spheres to reverse engineer their capture mechanism, not for storage, but for self-replication. Voltorb's spherical form, that deceptive mimicry of a Pokeball, wasn't coincidence. It was designed to lure Pokémon closer, mimicking the click and suck of true capture, but infused with volatile electric plasma to ensnare energy itself. Early tests succeeded too well. Prototypes absorbed ambient power uncontrollably, ballooning into electrode, then detonating in chains that shattered containment domes. Eyewitness accounts from the anime's fringes describe Voltorb herds stampeding through factory floors, exploding on contact, their interiors revealing not organic cores, but tangled circuitry and miniaturized Poketech, proof of man-made mimicry gone feral. In Kalos, the parallels intensify. Think of the power plant's sealed sectors, glimpsed in cut content from X and Y, House Zygard's embryonic cells intertwined with electric grids, suggesting a grander folly, fusing legendary oversight with human power grids. But disasters struck first. Poison anomalies proliferated here too, coughing drifting like toxic balloons from ventilation shafts, wheezing belching fumes that corroded concrete overnight. Dultamine dialogues reference Project Orb, a Voltorb variant engineered to patrol reactors autonomously, self-destructing only on intruder detection. Instead, they turned inward, short-circuiting fail-safes and flooding halls with electromagnetic pulses that fried neural pathways in test subjects. Human and Pokémon alike, the ghost girl of Lumios gliding through elevators tied to this very plant might be one such victim. Her form digitized in the overload, forever seeking the one who promised containment. Venturing through these voids today, you feel the weight of it all. Sparks dance across flooded basements, illuminating graffiti-scratched walls pleading, "It woke up." Raiku's distant thunderclaps, reborn from similar ashes in Johto's burned tower, find kin here, electric beasts patrolling perimeters, guardians or prisoners of the fallout. Grimer colonies thrive in effluent lakes, their toxic auras mutating nearby Pidgey into venomous flocks. Every hum, every distant pop of a Voltorb priming its blast underscores the hubris. Humans toyed with Capture's soul, birthing abominations that now claim the ruins as their domain. These power plant voids aren't mere backdrops, they're scars of synthetic apocalypses, where electric fury met poison, decay and experiments that escaped the lab. Voltorb, that unassuming orb, rolls eternal as the smoking gun, a Pokeball perverted, exploding the illusion of control. And as you trace these shadowed grids, the true horror crystallizes. What other facilities lurk, humming with unfinished sins? But the shadows lengthen further when we confront the eternal king's sin, a regal transgression that eclipses even these industrial graves. Those flickering shadows in the abandoned power plants of Kanto and Kalos whisper of experiments gone wrong, but they are mere echoes compared to the cataclysm that reshaped an entire region 3,000 years ago. A weapon born from a king's unimaginable grief, one that didn't just fail, it obliterated armies and twisted the fabric of life itself. In the ancient heart of Kalos, where the Prism Tower now pierces the skyline of Lumio City, a brutal war raged between rival kingdoms. Picture vast fields turned to churned mud under the feet of thousands. The air thick with the cries of Pokémon locked in savage combat alongside their human trainers. This wasn't some fleeting skirmish, it dragged on for 100 years, claiming lives without mercy, until one man, King Aza, ascended to the throne amid the blood-soaked ruins. Tall and resolute, with eyes hardened by endless loss, Az ruled a kingdom teetering on annihilation. His people looked to him not just as a leader, but as their last hope against extinction. What drove Az to such desperation was no abstract strategy. It was personal. His most cherished companion, a delicate Floette, vanished into the chaos of battle. This tiny fairy-type Pokémon, with its flower cradled like a shield, had been more than a partner. It was the light in his darkening world. Days turned to weeks, then months, as Az scoured the war-torn lands, his searches yielding only silence. Grief festered into rage, and rage birthed genius. Drawing on forbidden knowledge from scholars and alchemists, AZ forged the ultimate weapon, a colossal machine of gleaming steel and arcane mechanisms, towering like a mechanical god over his castle. The weapon's core pulsed with stolen life. It drained the energy from Pokémon, converting their very essence into raw power, then unleashed it in a beam capable of leveling armies. As Z tested it first on the battlefield, watching in grim satisfaction as enemy forces vaporized in a flash of otherworldly light. Victory seemed at hand. His kingdom cheered as the tide turned. The war's end in sight, but fate twisted cruelly. Just as peace beckoned, his lost Floette returned, battered, flower wilted, but alive, fluttering back with unwavering loyalty. In that moment of reunion, AZ's heart shattered anew. Overwhelmed, he embraced the Floette, triggering the weapon's activation by accident. The machine roared to life, its beams surging across the continent. Hundreds of thousands perished in an instant. Soldiers, Pokémon, civilians, all reduced to ash under a sky torn asunder. The war ended not with treaties or surrender, but with silence. The rival kingdoms crumbled, their armies gone, leaving Kalos victorious yet hollow. AZ survived, but at what cost? The weapon's energy coursed through him, granting immortality, a curse disguised as a gift. His body refused to age, his wounds healed in seconds, but his soul withered. Eternal life meant eternal torment, reliving that fatal mistake, night after endless night. Floette, healed by AZ through a special revival method, using a golden flower, stayed by his side for 3 centuries. It poured healing pollen into his veins, mending his physical form even as his mind frayed. Yet the king's bitterness grew. He saw humans and Pokémon alike as pawns in a cycle of violence, unworthy of the bonds they claimed. One fateful day, as AZ wandered the ruins of his castle, now a forgotten monument swallowed by vines, Floette finally broke. Unable to bear his descent into madness, it laid the golden flower at his feet, a final act of love and farewell. With a soft glow, Floette evolved into Florges, its petals radiant one last time, then departed forever into the wilds of Kalos. As Zed was left alone, immortal and forsaken, clutching that flower as his only remnant of warmth. He wandered the world for 3,000 years, a ghost among the living, building machines, to capture Pokémon and end the conflicts he blamed on their existence. But the ultimate weapon's legacy didn't fade with the king's exile. Its detonation left behind a lingering radiation, an ethereal energy that seeped into the earth like invisible roots. This wasn't mere fallout, it was a mutation of life force itself, altering Pokémon at their core. In the depths of AZ's castle, where the 2 halves of the weapon lay dormant, one in Kalos, the other unearthed in Hoenn, scientists like Professor Sycamore would later discover its true impact. That radiant energy became the catalyst for mega evolution. You see, megastones, those glittering relics scattered across regions, he absorbed traces of the weapon's blast. When bonded with a Pokémon through a keystone, they unleash this ancient power, allowing temporary transcendence, horns sharpening, wings unfurling, forms bulging with raw might. It's no coincidence that Kalos birthed mega evolution. The region's soil still hums with AZ's sin, the golden flower Floette left behind. It blooms eternally in the castle, its pollen the final key to awakening the weapon anew, a dormant threat Sycamore and Lysandre toyed with in their quests for godhood. AZ himself resurfaced in the events of Kalos's crisis, his immortality a living testament to unchecked ambition. He confronted the modern world, urging humanity to abandon Pokémon training, his voice a rasp from millennia of isolation. Yet even he found a flicker of redemption, entrusting the flower to those who proved worthy. His story lingers as Kalos's darkest secret, a reminder that the greatest weapons aren't forged in labs like those shadowed power plants, but in the broken hearts of kings. And as we trace these scars of creation and loss, we stumble upon an even stranger void, one where ordinary creatures, the non-Pokémon animals of this world, simply vanished without a trace. Coming up next, Chapter 16, The Vanishing Animals. As AZ wandered the ruins of his shattered kingdom, burdened by immortality and the ghost of a single lost floette, the world around him began to empty in ways no ultimate weapon could explain. Forests that once echoed with the chatter of ordinary birds fell quiet. Rivers ran thick with Magikarp fins instead of silver-scaled trout. And the underbrush, though thick with Rattata these days, hid no trace of the field mice that scurried there before. This wasn't a war's aftermath. It was something subtler, a vanishing act written into the very first Pokédex entries from Kanto, where hints of real-world creatures linger like fossils in the margins. Consider Pidgey, the tiny bird Pokémon, whose Gen 1 entry paints it as just one among many. It flutters in flocks, nesting high in trees, alongside what the original text implies were common sparrows and finches, feathered locals that dotted the skies before Pokémon claimed them all. You can sense it in the wording. Pidgey drives off threats with gentle pecks, a behaviour straight out of a pigeon squabble, yet no other birds appear in the wilds. Fast forward to later generations, and those entries get scrubbed clean. No sparrows, no finches, just Pidgey, everywhere, as if it muscled out every competitor in a takeover no one remembers. Or take Caterpie, the larval starter whose string shot mimics spider silk so perfectly. The Pokédex notes how it ensnares prey in webs that rival those of forest arachnids. Spiders, real ones, unnamed, skittering through the same leaves where Caterpie now pupates undisturbed. In those early Kanto logs, the ecosystem teems with unspoken normals, bugs that aren't pincer or venonat, rodents beyond Rattata warrens, beedrill dives for small insects, phrasing that screams of prey not catalogued in any Pokédex, creatures that buzzed and crawled until something silenced them forever. These aren't fan inventions. They're etched in the original red and blue data, ghosts of a diverse wild overwritten by monsterkind. Nowhere is this erasure starker than with Farfetch'd, the elusive duck Pokémon whose entry drips with tragedy. Completely extinct in certain regions, it declares outright in later versions, but trace back to Gen 1, and it's rarer still. A holdout, a survivor clutching a leak like a talisman against hunters who prized its kind as the last wildfowl delicacy. No ordinary ducks paddle Carlos ponds or Johto streams anymore. Goldeen and Psyduck fill those waters, beaks snapping at shadows of what swam before. Farfetch'd carries the weight of that loss in its weary flight, a final echo of birds that weren't electric or fiery, just birds until they weren't. This pattern repeats across the board. Vulpix curls in dens once shared with foxes, its Ninetales a flamboyant twist on vulpine grace. But the Pokédex hints at wild canids, displaced by Growlithe packs, Persian lounges in urban alleys, outsmarting humans with feline cunning. Yet early notes suggest stray cats prowled those same streets, meowing where Meowth now chatters coins. Even the seas tell the tale. Tentacool drifts in currents stripped of jellyfish blooms and squid schools, its tendrils pulsing where normal marine life once teemed. Fishermen cast lines for crabby now, not cod or herring, the Pokédex silent on what vanished from the hooks. What happened to them? The theories swirl like mist over Lavender Tower, each darker than the last. The boldest pins it on Pokémon as invasive predators crash landing into this world, from rifts or distant lands, outcompeting the natives with raw power and Pokeballs to boot. Picture it. Herds of Tauros stampeding across plains, trampling gazelle and wildebeest analogues underhoof, their Pokédex entry crowing about goring anything that moves. Miltank pastures yield milk where cows once lowed, haradas swelling to feed a human population that forgot beefsteaks came from something less. monstrous. These invaders didn't just win, they rewrote the food chain, evolving faster, adapting deadlier, until normal fauna blinked out, starved, hunted, or simply unable to match a world where beasts hurl fire and thunder. Evidence piles up in the silences. Why do Kanto roots swarm solely with Pokémon? No squirrels nesting in oddish patches, no rabbits bolting from Aken's coils. Later regions amplify it. Unova's woods hold Patrot instead of prairie dogs. Alola's beaches host Wingull over gulls and crabs. Or the anime slips clues too. Early episodes show fleeting normal fish in rivers, birds wheeling overhead before the retcon seals them away. Lieutenant Surge's war might have accelerated it, humans weaponizing Pokémon against their own kind. But the extinction predates that, stretching back to AZ's era, when Floette Meadows perhaps bloomed with butterflies that weren't butterfree. And the human cost? Profound. No loyal hounds at heels, just loyal Arcanine. Children chase Pidgey, not butterflies or frogs. Markets hawk far-fetched leeks instead of plucked pheasant. Miltank yogurt over cow cream. The world tilted from animals, docile, familiar, woven into daily life, to monsters, revered and battled, but alien in their caprice. What folklore got lost? Tales of wise owls, not hoot-hoot's rhythmic hoots. Songs of whales breaching. I drowned by Waylord's bulk. The Pokédex became a monster manual, normal entries redacted, as if Game Freak themselves mourned the shift, leaving breadcrumbs for us to follow. This transition haunts the lore's underbelly, a quiet genocide masked by gym badges and evolutions. Pokémon filled every niche so thoroughly, the old world feels like a dream. Bees as beedrill swarms, rats as ratata plagues, horses as ponyta flames. Theories whisper of a deliberate purge, Arceus seeding invaders to test creation, or ultra beasts as harbingers of worse to come. Whatever the truth, those vanished animals left scars, empty ecological ghosts, niches too perfectly occupied, a planet remade in monster image. But if Pokémon devoured the old fauna, what oversights lurk in the labs and power plants where new threats were born? We'll peer behind those humming doors next in Chapter 17, the Zygard oversight, where incomplete cells and unfinished guardians hint at a catastrophe still unfolding. As Pokémon reshaped the world, driving familiar creatures into oblivion, something else has been watching from the edges, silent, fragmented, and bound to the planet's fragile equilibrium. Zygard, the Order Pokémon, embodies that vigilance, a colossal guardian pieced together from trillions of microscopic cells scattered across Kalos. Yet it slumbers in obscurity, denied the spotlight of its own saga. You first glimpse its influence in the depths of Terminus Cave, that labyrinthine void at the edge of Lumio City, where the air grows thick and electric, humming with unseen life. Flashlights cut through the gloom, revealing not just rare stones or hidden chambers, but faint glimmers, zygard cells, ethereal orbs no larger than raindrops, drifting like bioluminescent plankton in an underground sea. These aren't mere collectibles, they're the building blocks of a living sentinel, each one a fragment of Zygard's vast consciousness, pulsing with the rhythm of the Earth's own heartbeat. Collect 10% of them, and you awaken the 10% form, a sleek serpentine drone, green and unassuming, slipping through shadows with predatory grace. But push further, gather 50%, and the 50% form emerges, a fierce quadrupedal beast armoured in crystalline black and green, eyes blazing with emerald fire, ready to enforce balance with claws that rend stone. And if the threat escalates, the complete form uncoils in sun and moon, a serpentine titan over 30 feet long, coiling through the sky like a living eclipse, its 1,000 tendrils lashing out to pulverize armies of invaders. This power rivals Arceus itself, a deity woven from the planet's own essence, tasked with preserving the delicate web of life. Zygarde doesn't seek trainers or battles for glory. It activates only when ecosystems teeter on collapse, dismantling factories, repelling invasive swarms, restoring what humanity and rogue Pokémon threaten to unravel. In Kalos, whispers tie it to the ultimate weapons fallout, those cataclysmic pulses from 3,000 years ago that scarred the land, perhaps awakening Zygard from primordial sleep to mend the wounds. Yet for all this might, Zygard never claimed its throne. No dedicated game unfurls its full mythos. No epic quest charts the assembly of its cells or the cataclysm that demands its rise. Generation 6 introduced it as a teaser in X and Y, half-formed, locked behind glitches and unfinished code. Terminus Cave's deepest chambers remain sealed. Power plants in Lumios flicker with ghostly anomalies, and that spectral girl haunts elevators, murmuring, "You're not the one," as if awaiting Zygard's chosen proxy. Game Freak shelved the full arc, perhaps daunted by its scale, or wary of revealing too much about Kalos' fragile underbelly. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire nodded to it on Mount Pyre, but Sun and Moon repurposed it as a side note, a boss in Ultra Megalopolis, its lore diluted into festival dances and Z-moves. Why withhold this? Zygard's story pierces the veil of Pokémon's cheerful facade, exposing a world where balance demands ruthless intervention. Imagine the cells multiplying unchecked, infiltrating rivers and forests, their quiet surveillance mapping every extinction event, from the vanishing herds of Pidgey ancestors to the poisoned blooms of Kalos wilds. Cores anchor this network, the blue core, stoic and analytical, embedded in Route 16's brush, the red core, volatile sentinel in the frost cavern, the yellow core glimpsed only in code, a wildcard pulsing with untapped fury. Together, they formed Zygard's neural web, dormant until sensors detect imbalance, overhunting, pollution, or worse, the unchecked spread of ultra beasts boring through dimensions. Deep in Terminus Cave, this ecosystem thrives unseen. Cells congregate in crystalline hives, reforming into temporary scouts that mimic common Pokémon, and blending into herds of deerling or schools of Finneon. They feed on ambient energy, solar flares, tectonic shifts, growing in number during crises. Players stumble upon them rarely, a lucky find amid Zubats and Gravelers. But lore hints at trillions worldwide, a planetary immune system. In anime glimpses, cells swarm like antibodies, overwhelming threats in glowing tempests, hinting at Zygard's true form. Not just power, but omnipresence, the ground itself rising to defend its own. This oversight feels deliberate, a shadow cast over Kalos' crown jewel. Lysandra's flare sought perfection through annihilation. Aziz's weapon birthed eternal grudges, yet Zygard lingers as the unsung arbiter, its great balance, an unspoken covenant. What defines it? Equilibrium of species, yes, predator to prey, flora to fauna, but deeper, a harmony of worlds. Or Pokémon lore suggests Zygard monitors distortions. The Dragon Trio's schism echoing in Unova's ruins, the Burn Tower's rebirths in Johto, even the power plant's void-born Voltorb experiments. When invasive forces like those we discussed, Pokémon overtaking native life, tip the scales, cells mobilize, cores synchronize, and the serpent stirs. Speculate with me on the collapse. Suppose humanity's hubris peaks. Factories choke Geosenji's valleys. Mega evolutions warp genetics beyond repair. Ultra wormholes fracture reality. Zygard's threshold breaches. Cells flood the skies in a verdant aurora converging on capitals. Lumios's prism tower trembles as the 100% form erupts from terminus depths, scales iridescent under blood moons, raw shattering glass across regions. It doesn't discriminate. Trainers, legendaries, like machines, all leveled if they unbalance the core. Forests reclaim cities overnight. Herds repopulate extinct plains. But at what cost? Survivors whisper of a purged paradise where free-roaming Pokémon enforce the new order. humans reduced to wary nomads, or darker still, internal failure. Cause corrupt, blue turning territorial, red berserk, yellow fracturing the collective. Zygard splinters into feral shards, cells mutating into aberrant horrors, green golurk swarms, crystalline tyrannotars, accelerating the very chaos they guard against. Terminus Cave becomes ground zero, a pulsating wound leaking imbalance worldwide, tying back to those ghost girls and war veterans, harbingers of a reckoning overdue. Game Freak's silence amplifies the dread. No Zygard Chronicles movie, no spin-off delving Terminus's veins, just fragments in manga and data mines, unused sprites of cell hives, dialogue scraps about the one who maintains, echoing the lumio spectre. It's as if the developers glimpsed the abyss, a Pokémon world where order demands apocalypse, and pulled back, leaving us to ponder in the dark. But these threads of oversight weave toward greater revelations still shrouded. In Chapter 18, The Final Horizon, we'll confront the ultimate enigma binding all these shadows, the one mystery that redefines everything you've heard tonight. Stay with me as the veil thins completely. As Zygarde cells pulse silently within the depths of Terminus Cave, maintaining an fragile order over a world teetering on chaos, one can't help but wonder what horrors they've witnessed across millennia, silently observing the fractures that never fully healed. Those green fragments, scattered like forgotten guardians, have lingered through eras of unimaginable strife, from the cataclysmic wars that scarred the land to the quiet agonies of loss that echo in every shadowed corner. Picture the ancient Unova Highlands, where two brothers once stood as heroes, their ideals clashing like thunderheads until their shared companion, the original dragon, tore itself apart to end the bloodshed. Reshiram rose in flames of truth, Zekrom plunged into shadows of ideals, and Kyurem remained, a hollow husk yearning for wholeness, its cries lost to the windswept ruins. That primal schism set the stage, birthing eternal rivals from familial betrayal, a wound so deep it reverberates through every legend of divided powers. Centuries later, those same winds carried the smoke of greater infernos. In Johto's burned tower, flames devoured three beasts, their essences rising anew under Ho-Oh's mournful gaze. Raikou crackling with stolen lightning, Entei roaring from volcanic fury, Suicune gliding like mist over graves. What sparked that blaze? Arson from warring factions, or a Pokémon's rampage born of neglect? The tower stands as a charred monument, its stones whispering of lives extinguished, revived only in phantasmal forms that roam endlessly, chasing memories of warmth they can never reclaim. War didn't fade with those ashes, it evolved, hidden behind the veneer of peace. 3,000 years before our journeys began, in Kalos, a king's grief ignited the ultimate weapon, a machine of light that vaporized armies and Pokémon alike, leaving fields of eternal stone where life once bloomed. A Z wandered immortal from that holocaust, his fluet abandoning him in sorrow, a betrayal that severed the strongest bond imaginable. Lieutenant Surge, that grizzled veteran of a more recent conflict, still bears the scars. His Zapdos-forged electricity, a tool of human ambition, turned against kin, hinting at global battles where Pokémon were conscripted as living artillery, their roars drowning out cries for mercy. Beneath these grand cataclysms lie the intimate tragedies, the deaths that fracture families and haunt the living. Gary's Raticate, that loyal starter vanishing at Lavender Tower, its absence marked by a grief-stricken trainer amid swirling ghosts. Did it fall to the spectral poisons there, or perish in some untold skirmish? Cubone trudges eternally, skull helmet of its slain mother clamped tight. An orphaned Joey, perhaps cast from a Kangaskhan's pouch, in the chaos of migration or predation. Its bone club, a perpetual dirge for maternal sacrifice. In Hisui's Blood Moon tales, Ursaluna warps into a grotesque survivor, the last of its line twisted by forbidden rites, while islands whisper of Driflon spiriting children to the sea and Hypno weaving nightmares that claim young souls. Abandonment threads through it all, a quiet erosion more insidious than blades or fire. Real animals, once companions in Pokédex tales, Pidgey flocking with birds, Rattata sharing burrows with rodents, vanished without trace, supplanted by invasive Pokémon hordes that claimed every niche, driving native life to extinction in silent conquests. Ash Ketchum quests eternally for a father glimpsed only in shadows. A void producers teased but abandoned, Inni mirroring the scrapped GS ball, a Celebi portal left rusting in Kurt's hands, its time-warping promise erased like a discarded timeline. Power plants crumble in Kanto and Kalos, Voltorb experiments fusing man and machine in failed bids for control, their hollow eyes staring from the dark. Even the gods reflect this desolation. Tobias, the enigmatic Sinnoh League conqueror, tamed Darkrai and Latios, deities bent to a mortal's will, then faded into myth, his full arsenal of legends, a forbidden power that shattered limits, leaving Ash broken in the dust. In Sinnoh's strange house, a girl succumbed to Darkrai's nightmares before Cressilia's wing could save her, her spirit confirming the tragedy to wanderers. Hypno's lullabies on forsaken shores musk child hauntings, illusions veiling lonely ends. These strands, war's thunder, or while death's chill grasp, abandonment's hollow ache, weave a single tapestry, dark and unyielding. The Pokémon world you traverse, with its verdant roots and cheering crowds, rises from these ruins. Gym battles echo ancient battlefields, towers guard mass graves, caves shelter fragmented dragons. Zygard watches not just ecosystems, but the ghosts of what was lost. It sells a final bulwark against relapse, and at the heart of it glides the ghost girl of Lumio City, her translucent form emerging from elevators in that glittering metropolis, circling you with hollow eyes before whispering, "You're not the one," and dissolving into ether. She reappears on Mount Pyre's windswept peaks, Hoenn's cemetery of ashes, repeating her lament amid the graves. Who is this one she seeks? A lost trainer from the Great War, felled in Surge's battles. The original dragon's remorseful remnant? Aziz's forsaken Floette, or Ash's absent father? Perhaps the Celebi that slipped through the GS ball's grasp, or Gary's departed Raticate, waiting in spectral reunion. She embodies the unresolved, a sentinel of limbo in a world built on tragedy's bones. These mysteries linger, unsolved sentinels in the lore, inviting you to ponder as sleep claims the edges of your thoughts. What horizons hide beyond the veil, and what one might yet emerge from the shadows? What did you think of this journey? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If this changed your perspective or taught you something new, consider subscribing for more mind-expanding content. And if you know someone who would find this as fascinating as you did, share it with them. These are the kind of conversations that matter.